Hello everybody. We're going to be talking today about the brake master cylinder on a 1999 1500 Kawasaki drifter. And here's one I prepared earlier. It's not a problem that comes around very often. In fact, it's only happened to me once in the last 20 years. But it's happened again, and I thought I'd go through the process so that at least you're aware of it. And it might help you with resolving any of your braking issues. Okay, what I found was that I just couldn't create pressure in order to bleed the brakes, having replaced the brake pads and the front wheel. So it ended up with, this must be the problem, and I sincerely hope that it will be. But the process of dismantling it and servicing it is what we're going to be talking about. Just to let you know, this is, if you haven't seen it before, the brake master cylinder. This is the fluid reservoir. I've already taken the top off. This is the outlet for your hydraulic hose down to your caliper. This is the pivot point for your brake lever. Underneath you'll find two electrical connectors. This is your switch mechanism for your rear brake light, and this is the handlebar clamp, and finally excuse me, the sight window once you get to filling the fluid reservoir with fluid. Okay, so that's what it consists of. Now the pressure creating mechanism is, as you can see here, it consists of a piston, and a spring contained within this orifice here by the use of a circlip. Okay, so release that, put that out of the way. So a circlip, piston with a rubber seal on it, a spring with a rubber cap on it, and this is just for sort of dampening purposes, and that's the components, or those are the components. Just to brief you, sorry I put them out of shot. Just to brief you, you might have come across circlip pliers like this. You might have even come across circlip pliers like those. They didn't work well for me because the pins are invariably too big for the holes in the bottom of the circlip. And the ones that I found purely by accident which suited me best were these long nose pliers. They give a long reach, a narrow reach, because there's not a lot of room in that cylinder to get the components in and out. And also the holes in the circlip are quite small as well. If you haven't got those, I highly recommend that you do. Or you can buy Kawasaki's own at about £45 a shot. These were £12 off Amazon, and they are brilliant for this job. Okay, enough of that. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace the components. So a readily available replacement kit was ordered off eBay, cost of about nearly £20. So we'll take the old ones out of the way, and these are the new ones. And you'll see that compared to the old one, the new one is near identical, but let me explain. Replacement circlip, replacement piston with new seal already fitted, replacement spring with rubber cap already fitted, and then you've got what they call a top hat washer, for the want of a better word, and I'll come to that in a second. And also in this kit was an additional washer. Now in the listing on eBay there was no sign of this washer. In the diagram in the workshop manual that Kawasaki sell for the drifter, there's no reference to this washer. So it's just a little bit worrying that they would have sent this, but it appears to have been sent by mistake. So my advice would be, if you do get a replacement kit with this washer in, is to ignore that and merely put back in the components that you are replacing. And now let's get these out of the way. Okay, and now to reassemble this, the spring goes in first with the rubber cap uppermost, and it just slots into that there, and you can push it in with your finger just to give you a bit of more space. The piston then goes on top, and you'll see that there is some resistance in there. So on the reassembly, sorry, let me just get this ready. On the reassembly, if we preload the circlip with the circlip pliers, because there's not a lot of space down in that little cylinder, what you'll need to do is it's not do that is to get this on, take a little bit of tension, okay, and you'll see that this is the best angle to install the circlip, because there's a gap in the cylinder wall just there at the end of my thumb. So go over the end of the piston, push down against the resistance that you've got, go down as far as you can with the pliers, and here we are, clever Dick, and release, he says, and it didn't. Do it again. Do it again. Okay, preload the pliers. Okay, try again. So depress the piston, over the piston, depress it, go all the way down as far as they will go, and release. And you will see probably just see right down there is the tail of the circlip. So I would suggest that you just go round with something narrow, like a chopstick maybe, and just make sure that the circlip is set into the recess as far as it will go. Okay, and you then find that the piston will operate and bumping up against the circlip as it should. Okay, this top hat is to weatherproof everything really, and to prevent leaks. So it sits over the top of the piston and will eventually cover the circlip. So all you do is manipulate the top of the collar so that it sits in the recess at the top of the piston. And there it is. Okay, weatherproofed, fluid proofed hopefully, and that's the job done. All I need to do now is put it back on the bike and bleed the brakes, and hopefully this will be the problem solver, because there was no pressure. Like I said, there was no pressure created in the system because this particular valve, it's a bit like the old the innards to an old bicycle pump, where you get the leather washer inside that creates the pressure. This also creates the pressure, but it does eventually wear out because this component physically moves. The little rubber at the top of the spring doesn't, it's just a buffer. So this is the component that wears out. And the thing I forgot to tell you is that the reason why there is no top hat with the old components is that you will inevitably destroy the top hat getting it off, so you can get at the circlip. Okay, because everything is so tight. Where are we? So tight in there that in order to get this rubber top hat off, there's not a lot of room to work, and to prise it off, you'll invariably destroy it. So that's why they give you a new one in the replacement kit. Okay, so that's the way that you replace the components in your master cylinder in order to create pressure. And you'll see probably just down in there, let's get the light right. You can see, you probably just see components moving. That's the piston moving up and down, moving the fluid and creating the pressure in order to operate the brakes. So have fun. If you have any questions, please ask and I'll do my best to answer them as quickly as I can. Thank you very much. See you next time.